Okay, welcome back to my second of the videos relating to this social media task. So I'm in a Year 11 and 12 Food and Hospitality team. You can see that I've now uploaded the overview for you here. What I'm now going to go to is the classwork section again, into task 2, social media, and down here to the articles from hospitality. So this is what I want to focus on at the moment. What I have done previously, and please do be aware that this was collected probably about 6 or 7 years ago, so some of these are now quite possibly out of date. You might need to see if you can find some updated information, but what I have done is put together a package of 10 or so, I suppose, different articles that relate in various ways to social media and its use, or technology and its use within a variety of business applications. So we want to look specifically at the food and hospitality industry. This first article here talks a little bit about how you can use digital tools to boost the efficiency of your business. So there might be some supportive material in here with regards to hospitality. In particular, we know how important visual communication is for hospitality businesses, and it talks in here about the use of photographs and having the correct photographs and being able to controversially edit photographs, be able to have them under good lighting, be able to have them set up well, etc. And how the importance of that to your business. So that is there. But do remember that the editing of photographs in hospitality is again controversial, because you don't want to be seen as misleading your clientele with what you are providing to them. This next article, Top Chefs Share Their Social Media Secrets. This one from a few years ago when Twitter just came on the scene, and you'll notice that we have a chef here who at the time had a whole 877 followers, which was not many, particularly when you look these days at the likes of, as I said earlier, Adam Lior with his 300,000 followers and Reynold Pomeroy with his 1 million followers. This chef only had 877 at the time, but he still managed to make it into mainstream media because of the way that he was using social media. So he had the situation where people were no-shows. They'd make a booking at his restaurant, they didn't show up, they were cancelling they weren't cancelling, they just didn't show. So they didn't bother to call and cancel their bookings. Obviously that has implications for the business. It becomes very expensive, etc., etc. So he started naming and shaming those people, and it created a bit of a Twitter storm, as things were called back then, and got a bit of media coverage, to the extent that there was a hashtag no-show shame that was created and began trending on Twitter and all those kind of things. It does talk a little bit in here then about how social media has turned the restaurant industry on its head. Now that every diner can become a critic and every restaurateur becomes a potential target. So there's some really good quotes within this one. This one here, the biggest impact that social media had is that restaurants and service providers are judged on the spot, and that judgment can go out to the many thousands of people very quickly of a restaurant before the main course has hit the table. Someone can take a photo of it and it can be seen by a variety of people. So that has a big impact as well. When it comes to the use of social media is used for free advertising by a lot of businesses. So the use of social media keeps the restaurant front of mind, not only for the diners but for the media as well. If you have some Twitter streams that you're following, people from media personalities also follow, and if you watch that occasionally, then you come into their consciousness and you make it into the mainstream media, and that's a form of advertising which often can't be bought. Down here further, we've got another quote where Macedo says restaurants need to be active on social media these days, or they run the risk of being left behind by information-hungry diners who want to engage with the face behind the business. So again, that leads to the question that I spoke about earlier. Is it the chef or is it the restaurant that people tend to follow on things like Instagram and Facebook, etc.? Which also then leads to the question, well, who manages your business's Facebook or Twitter or Instagram account? Is it actually the owner of the business, or is everyone who is a part of that business able to post? Or is there one or two people that are responsible for the social media posts of that business? It would actually be quite interesting to talk to someone such as Capella's, who have a very strong Facebook presence. How do they actually decide who posts? Is there a situation where it needs to be approved by Matt or Kirby before it is actually posted? Or is there someone else on staff who is trusted to do that? It would actually be quite a significant role within any hospitality company these days to be that person that posts on social media. So, also up here we've got, while Massajo is a firm believer that the restaurateur should manage his or her business themselves, there are also third-party companies, such as used by the long grain restaurants in Sydney and Melbourne, where they actually pay a third-party company to handle their posts. Because we need to have something written on the page every day, whether it's about the dishes or whether it's about the people or whether it's about the restaurant or whatever it is, it needs to be updated constantly so that there is always something taking that feed to the top of everyone's consciousness within the hospitality businesses. So that's an interesting point to think about and consider. Top tips for managing social media. Social media has many benefits for the hospitality industry, from promoting the business to recruiting new staff. But then we also have some negatives as well. So things like the ability where disgruntled employees, now commonly published through social media websites, their negative and sometimes harmful opinions about their employer. They can lead to court cases, it can lead to businesses shutting down, it can lead to mainstream media picking up the hostilities, all kinds of things can happen. So again, there needs to be a very clear direction within the business as to what is and isn't allowed, and who is allowed to post, who isn't allowed to post, etc. As it says down here, social media risks can be managed by developing and enforcing workplace policies that encourage the appropriate use of social media. So more evidence that you might be able to incorporate into your investigation. This is the same article that's the very first one, and I don't know why I've got it on there twice, but I do. Anyway, next one, restaurant reviews and revenues could jump with Yelp. So Yelp only came to Australian shores in 2011. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, Yelp uses something similar to Google's search algorithm to comb through comments, scoring their validity, accepting good quality responses, and disregarding those with Facebook Connect to ensure that businesses can't get their friends to post favourable reviews to move their restaurant up the Yelp review system. Because it is actually very important to be able to have good reviews on Yelp, because as it says down here, a study done by Harvard Business School found that reviews from Yelp between 2003 and 2009, this was before it came to Australia, a 1-star increase in a Yelp rating led to a 5 to 9% increase in revenue. For a hospitality business, that is absolutely massive. This effect is driven by independent restaurants, and ratings do not affect restaurants. I don't know what that word is that's cut off there. Ratings do not affect restaurants with, I don't know, sorry. Chain restaurants have declined in market share as Yelp penetration has increased. So that's a good thing for small independent businesses, particularly, around areas like here where that's all that we have. That would be seen as a good thing. Facebook and social media can be used to promote your area, not just your restaurant. You might know Joe Gibbons down at Taste the York is very good at promoting not just Taste the York, but also other goings on in town. The previous owner of Cafe Moonta, Gil, who set up one of the Moonta community Facebook sites, was also incredibly good at posting not only for her own business but also, providing outlet, I suppose, for other businesses and others in the hospitality business as well, those that she was in competition with, to actually receive social media coverage as well, which was fantastic. We've also got some things like, you need to remember that when it comes to social media posting, the content is king, some reasons for that, the need to stay current, etc. How to make Facebook work for your business. There are a few different points on here that could be used as recommendations within your investigation. So things like, do you actually need a Facebook page, or do you need a group instead? Who administers the page is a big tricky one that needs to be considered, because if you end up with an employee who has an axe to grind as an administrator on your page, it could turn into an absolute disaster. Your business needs a social media policy, and obviously then everyone who works within that business needs to understand what that policy is. Then we have Taco Bill gears up with marketing push. So this talks about how Taco Bill used their website and a social media push to actually win some awards within Australia when they first came to Australian shores. They used social media as part of their marketing strategy. Finally, we've got some results from a American Express Diners Insight survey from 2010, so 15 years ago, but I'm sure there's been an update to this since, and you might be able to find it. 1 in 6 in Australian diners use the social networking site Facebook to discuss and rate their latest restaurant meals. 1 in 4 Australians turn to online sources to decide on a new place to eat out. As I said, I'm sure that those figures these days are even higher if you have a look through Instagram feeds of your friends, if you have a look through Facebook feeds, if you have a look through Twitter feeds. You will find that food and hospitality businesses are a very large part of that. So I'm sure that there is some much more relevant, more updated data that would be available if you went looking for it, that you would be able to incorporate into that investigation. So again, this is an article that you will, or that all articles that you will find within the Task 2 social media folder there for you as a starting point for that investigation task, which is that task right there. Okay, hope that gives you somewhere to start from. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys after lunch. Bye.